Posterity, the podcast with Aaron-Michael Fox and Eric Crusan is starting now.
Oh, you're listening to For Posterity, the podcast. We're back again, I guess. I'm Aaron-Michael Fox, and with me is Eric Crusan.
That's me. And unless we say something that's going to get us in trouble with the government, and then it's not Eric Crusan.
Yes, in which case this is hosted by Gary Minke and Keith Terry. To the NSA, if you're listening, this is For Posterity with Gary Minke and Keith Terry. Coming at you.
From Florida.
Sorry, we had to take a time out for Eric to check his Facebook.
I have OCD, and if I have a little one or any red circle, I have to check it.
One would think... Oh, hold on, I gotta check my Twitter.
You gonna get on me about Facebook?
I'm getting Twitter notifications. I can't stand... All right. So anyway, here. We've got a whole list here of things to talk about that we set out for last week, actually, and so far
we're not getting to half of this shit.
No, so far we got to one and half of another. So I'm going to start this one out just because I want a gut reaction from you on this, Eric.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
This is the hot seat question, I guess. This is the Daily Show.
Is there any money in it for me? I can get another beer, though, right?
I'm used to government work, I guess.
Then ask away. If I can get another beer, I'm all for it.
All right, here I just came across this piece of information this week that the tradition of the Olympic torch, the Olympic torch traveling, through.
Wait, is this like a word problem? Like it's traveling a certain distance?
No.
Okay, sorry.
This is not a quiz. There's no wrong answer. The Olympic torch.
7. Sorry.
The ceremony of the I don't know what I guess just the torch moving around on its way to the opening ceremony started in the 1930s by one Adolf Hitler.
He didn't start that.
Yes, that's what my sources tell me.
Really, and they still do that?
Yes, that's yeah.
Well, I guess of all the things they could pick for them to still do that he did, that's probably the best one.
Yeah, I mean on the list of things Hitler did, yes, I guess.
That's probably them. Painting is not as...
But yeah, it's a big deal. I know we're not like in an Olympic season or anything. A lot of my topics are coming from your month of sin on the Daily Show. So we're running through whatever the most recent Olympics were, and that's how it came up. But that really, I'm kind of astonished, especially for it to be such like an important thing. People like if the flame goes out, we can't have an Olympics this time or something.
Thing?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what the symbolism
that'll make you just stand there with a fire hose.
Yeah, especially if it was started by Adolf Hitler. Like, what is what does it symbolize? Has anybody looked into it? Like, is this...
This is our portable oven.
Yes.
What if it symbolized that? And we do that every 4 years, like clockwork.
Yeah, the burn a Jew stick has to be sacredly transported around the host nation before we can have the Olympics.
That's officially the worst relay race ever.
This is why we do this. That is not at all the read that
Sorry, I got off track there.
No, that's. This is what.
And it's only that, like, because the microwave wasn't invented yet. Like, they could just be running around with a microwave to the next, like a nigga from Watts in a riot. off microwaves because who can carry a fucking oven?
Like, I really do wonder, like, what was, I was like, that was before 24-hour cable news or anything. This is 1930s. So did anybody actually investigate this? Or did they just go, well, that's a nice thing.
They didn't investigate shit back then.
That's very Greek. The torch on a stick, that it seems very, very Roman, very old school. It's like, is it all the...
Was everybody gay back then? Like, Crowds. We should probably specify what year this was recorded in.
We are an equal opportunity old world offender here.
Nothing's off limits.
Scotsmen are cheap, Irish are drunk, and
We had a thing like Scotsmen are cheap.
And Chinese make good landfill.
Wow. That is... My name is Keith Terry.
Once again, this is For Posterity, brought to you by Gary Minke and Keith Terry. Okay, if we're sounding a little slow, a little sluggish, we just had, what was it, 2.5 pounds roughly?
I was poisoned, is what he's getting at.
A gigantic pile of ribs.
Aaron-Michael made ribs, and I immediately fell asleep.
We're proving Dave Chappelle right. Two episodes in a row. Ribs, absolutely tranquilizers for my co-host here. Good night. Come to the Facebook page for pictures.
Where'd you put those ribs, Mr. Cosby?
Okay, yeah, let's, I guess we'd be remiss this week to not, something happened, I don't remember what happened, some kind of proof came out on Mr. Cosby sweaters. That's his name, right? No?
That's a brand.
Bill Cosby, Mr.
He admitted.
Oh, did he admit it? Is that what it was?
Prescriptions to Quaaludes that he would give girls that he wanted to have sex with.
Like, did he just I haven't, like, I've just been, like, I know he's been, I haven't.
I'll send you the article. But yeah, he said that.
But because I saw something that it was like a 2006.
Dude, it happened for a long time.
No, I'm saying this was like a deposition or something that was released from a previous court case or something. I mean, I got the gist of the info. I just didn't get whether it was.
You don't sound too concerned about it.
Well, I'm not like it. Like basically, I don't have any. I'm not conflicted on the issue because I was never really a Bill Cosby fan in the first place.
Wait, how are you never a Bill Cosby fan? As a comedian, how are you never a Bill Cosby fan?
Never really. I mean, like I'm not saying I didn't think he was funny. But it was never a comic. Like I don't think to this. I don't think now. Like I have.
I would
any
go
of his
see
DVDs.
him right now if he did a show.
It doesn't. Never. I mean,
Wow.
even
with all this, I would go see a show.
Even before, I wouldn't. I don't care. Like I remember whatever the first special I saw, he was sitting in the chair.
Yeah, himself.
And I remember like before I'd ever saw. I mean, I was a kid long before I'd ever saw the signs in comedy clubs that said, you know, this is stand-up comedy,
Well,
not
my mom explained all
sit-down
that
comedy.
to me. She was like, "Come watch this." And that was my first stand-up experience. Was Bill Cosby himself. And my mom was like, "Watch this."
Why? She explained why he was sitting down.
All I knew is he was telling stories, and it was funny.
But why was he sitting down?
Because he's fucking old.
But for the first, that was when did
He was still old
when
then.
did himself
That
come
was
out?
like 80s.
So,
early 80s, maybe late 70s.
He's
old.
fit and virile enough to rape ad nauseum.
You don't got
but he can't
Who
stand
said
up.
he was standing up while he was raping? Like, he could have been...
I'm guessing it's taking a little bit of physical effort. A little bit.
I'm sure it does. And maybe he was resting up during the show because he is figuring out he had shit to do later. He can't be up here walking around.
That could very well be a valid point.
Can't be up here talking about dentists and exerting energy that I'm going to be using later.
I mean, I guess that would be the only conflict. I guess
was never a fan.
Dad was a Cosby fan, And since you mentioned the dentist bit, that's one of Dad's favorite.
That's
bits.
one of the ones that stand out. Because I was a kid, that stood out in my mind. I've been to the dentist before. I wasn't married and had kids at that point.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I was like that bit in particular, especially like watching the whole special, waiting for the dentist bit because I'd got Dad's version secondhand.
But the rest of it's funny too.
Well, still, I was waiting on the. I mean, I was like, I'm chugging along and everything, but it was all about waiting for the dentist bit for that first time that I watched it. And I'm like, I don't know, 11, 12. But it just, I mean, yeah, sure, I thought it was funny. But I mean, I thought, Red Skelton was funny. Lucille Ball was funny. All kind of on the same level that none of them really, like, I thought they were funny. I laughed at it. But I didn't.
You weren't a fan.
Did you watch
I wasn't.
The show? No. Little crush on what was it? Lisa Bonet, was that?
Oh, the white one. Imagine that. You had a crush on the white one.
Yeah. It was but
is that why you didn't watch the show? Because you're too busy watching fucking Full House.
No. Did those even overlap? Is that
probably not?
No,
it's just a comparison because that's the white.
No, because we're separated by what, a decade, the two of us. So for me, it was Family Matters and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh yeah, that was your first black experience. Was Family Matters. That's all.
I'm gonna say, TV wise, I'm gonna say pretty close to it.
You missed all the good black shows like Good Times and The Jeffersons. All that Nick at Night shit that you don't get to watch.
Yeah, that wasn't
Sanford and Son.
That wasn't my. That wasn't
like Sanford and Son. Was
no, Sanford and Son. I got the box set on Sanford and Son. But I discovered Sanford and Son later after I'd become a fan of Red Fox.
When you was allowed to watch Negroes on the television.
No, Sanford and Son actually at college for me. That's when I really when I started collecting comedy DVDs and kind of really digging into it. Red Fox.
What about Fat Albert? You never watched Fat Albert, like the cartoon?
Nope.
Oh, because it was a Bill Cosby thing.
No, I mean, I had nothing. I didn't even know. But
he was teaching morals then to everybody. The whole time he's teaching morals.
To me, the Bill Cosby I grew up with was the guy that sold Jell-O. I'm honest. That's
the same Cosby show.
But I didn't. I mean, I wasn't. It wasn't on my radar anyway. When I was 6.
Touche.
We
didn't visit at our house. We had traditions.
I remember, and I will spare you a cheesy Cosby. See, that's why we're not even that was the Swedish Chef from the Muppets.
Yeah, that wasn't even close. He even tried to
Jell-O. This is why I don't have an impression-based stand-up routine.
You sound like he's going to sing "It's a Wonderful, What a Wonderful World." That's Bill Cosby. And I think to myself, that's Bill Cosby singing.
But no, I didn't. I didn't even know. I had no idea Fat Albert was connected in any way to Bill Cosby, and probably college again. Again, coming back to it from the comedy side. No, I
just don't get how you was never a fan of Bill Cosby. He's a legend comedy-wise.
I mean, I'm not a fan of Phyllis Diller either. I mean,
that's justifiable, I think.
I don't. She's. I don't know. Legendary anyway, comedy-wise. But
sure.
I mean, I never. Like I say, I always thought it was funny. His stand-up was funny. I mean, I watched the Cosby Show. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've seen it. Okay. I should say, but I didn't I mean, if it was on, and there was basically nothing else on. But I mean, I was always a sitcom guy. So when I say there was nothing else on, I mean there was no other comedy.
There's no other white families.
There's no other sitcoms on. No, not.
It wasn't
not
because nobody
specific.
wanted to compete with.
Because again, Family
Nobody
Matters,
wanted to compete with the Cosby Show sitcom wise. That's why there was no other shows on with white people in it. It was like the NBA all over again. Like, we don't want to compete with them. We can't compete with these black people on Thursday nights at 8. Like, it was just,
So
you couldn't do it.
So the turn here from last week is that you can't give a black person a show.
No, that was a special. Like, Bill Cosby was like the Seinfeld for black people.
Okay, so Oprah.
That's a talk show. That's a different thing. We're talking about comedy, like sitcoms now.
But we can't have. I'm just trying to do a 1-to-1 here that you can't give a black person a show.
You can't give a black person a serious talk show.
Bill Cosby.
No, you can't give a black person a serious talk show except for Oprah. She's the exception there. There's been black sitcoms that work. I'm just saying at the time, nobody was competing with the Cosby Show, but that's a comedy. That's not what we were talking about before.
So how does the Daily Show fit in?
It doesn't until Trevor Noah takes over.
Or the Nightly Show then.
It's not
or Last Week Tonight, which is what we were talking about last week. Yeah. Well, you can find the link. I'm sure somewhere in the description on this video.
Probably right above this video. Above the picture of me sleeping after eating poisoned ribs.
Wooden chair. We're not talking about this guy passed out on a couch. This guy fell asleep in a wooden chair sitting upright.
You do that when you're drugged. I don't know if you've ever been roofied before, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot like that.
That I'm aware of.
You answering the door in a towel is starting to make sense.
Eric messages me that he's here, and as I'm typing, good timing, I just got out of the shower, he starts knocking on the front door, and then it's supposed to be my fault.
So instead of saying, hey, I'm just getting out of the shower, and then I'll just stop knocking until you're fully clothed, you decide.
I answered through the door, okay, but you're gonna wait. You're gonna wish that you waited.
But you didn't have
for me to answer that message.
You could have answered that message, and then I would have been like, okay, he's just getting out of the shower. That's why he didn't hear me knocking.
But that's what. So my argument is, which one is more inhospitable? To leave him standing at the front door,
absolutely, for hours if need be.
Says you to leave you standing at the front door. As opposed to just opening the door in the towel and letting you inside.
Nobody wants to see that.
No, I'm not arguing that they are. I'm
so you're like the pervert with the trench coat. Like nobody wants to see it, so you're going to show it anyway?
No, which one in my house?
I could have waited at the door for 5 minutes for you to put some pants on. That's all I'm saying.
The towel served the same purpose. Everything was covered. That would be pants covered.
It's not the same.
But seriously, I couldn't, like, as far as, like, to me it's just more celebrity obsession is the only reason that the story gets any press whatsoever. Beyond the fact that, like, this is an egregious situation where we should, obviously be on the sides of the victims, which apparently half the country still doesn't really believe.
Oh no, since he said he did it, now everybody's just like, oh, shit. It's like people that were supporting him before, like, I'm not supporting him anymore.
Oh, well, that's nice of them.
Yeah. They gave him the benefit of the doubt.
No, I pretty much, like, right from the beginning was like, no, that makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Well, they have to give him the benefit of the doubt because it's just like when Michael Jackson died and then the kid was like, yeah, my dad made me do that. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be cautious about stuff like that. Like, they gave him the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe he didn't rape dozens of women.
No.
How would Bill Cosby have the time or energy, according to you, to rape dozens of women?
No, like, to me, like, I always, like, I just read about Cosby kind of like the senator that got caught in the Minnesota airport bathroom. Like, it always seems like there's just a little too, like, they're fighting too hard to be squeaky clean, to be, and I always kind of got that from Bill Cosby, that, I don't know, like, so, I mean, like, not that I expected that he was out raping everybody he met, but when it came out that, like, oh, he's got a really, really dark underside, I was like, no, that makes sense. that makes perfect sense. Like, to a certain extent, I don't trust. Like, if you're not bearing at least a certain amount of your demons, I don't trust it. Or I don't trust you, I guess.
All right, let me ask you something.
All right. The ribs are starting to affect me as well.
That's
Like,
okay.
it's starting. I guess it's got a delayed reaction on my.
That's because you eat other healthy shit like vegetables. I just like meat, and that's it.
You did. You skipped,
I'm one step away from a
You
cannibal.
skipped straight over the green beans and everything. That was. I
can live off of meat. Like, I
those ribs,
don't see anything wrong with me living off of meat. All right, let me ask you this. You posted earlier, actually, on one of your pages, one of your 5 million pages, about the guy that was standing out in front of the recruitment office at the Marines, and like it caught on, and like people are doing it everywhere.
Right.
Do you think he's an idiot? Because I think he's kind of an idiot. And all of them, not just him personally.
No, I think all of the people who go out with guns to defend their position are quite sane for doing so, and I applaud them.
Why do you applaud that though? Like, what is he going to do?
Now Gary Minke might disagree. I don't know. I haven't talked to Gary, but me personally, no, I fully support. No, seriously, I don't know. People are going to do what they're going to do. I mean, because
the police showed up.
Yeah, well, for at least the local guys, the cops have come. They basically went, okay, we know you're here. And then that's been pretty much the end of it. Like, they more or less seem more concerned to just know what's going on.
But they don't really put much thought into what's going on.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, this country really is a country because of guys that are just gonna. I mean, the original Continental Army was a bunch of guys that had some guns and just went, all right, sure, we're
but
country
the Marines
now.
have asked them to not do that, and they're like, "Nah, we're just going to do that."
Have they?
Yeah. There's an article on that too.
Okay.
They're like, "Please don't do that. We're good."
Okay. I defer to the Marines almost 100% of the time.
But they're still doing it though. They're like, "Yeah, we're still going to do this because."
I mean, basically, my take on it, like, and this is what I posted online, is that I'd kind of like to see, like armed, uniformed Marines, like Buckingham Palace style, like two armed Marines or whatever.
But that's not what it's a redneck with an assault rifle and a handgun.
Well, that's because we haven't got to the other thing yet. And I think, I mean, if we have a sentry keeping guard, I don't know that Joe Public down the street will feel the need to go defend it.
What does he think he's going to do? That's my point.
Well, I mean, it's sort of like when the bear got loose here in Huntington a couple weeks ago, and everybody then for a couple weeks is all about bear safety, when in reality, or when statistically, nobody that's alive for this bear incident is going to be around for another one. Statistically, it's a 1,000,000 to 1 shot or close to it. So
statistically, though, we're going to see a lot more acts of terrorism.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the world we live in. But I mean, as far as like, what are the odds of our local superhero happen to be in the right place at the right time when there's a terrorist attack? Yeah, probably slim to none. But if it makes everybody feel better,
and it does, according to the comments that were on your post,
then what the hey?
Like, one person said he should have backup, and for a second I thought,
pretty sure that one was sarcastic.
They're thinking logically, and then the one right beneath that said he has backup. It's on his hip.
Yes, I saw that one. Yes,
that's retarded.
And there was also a comment,
because just because you have a gun, everything's going to automatically be okay.
I think there was also a comment that said open carry was just putting a target on your back. I don't know about that one. When I see somebody with an AK-47 over their shoulder, I don't think target, personally.
I just don't understand. It's one guy. What is he going to do?
Well, I mean, it's one guy with an AK-47. So I
it's
mean,
one guy with
think
an
about
AK-47.
one guy with an AK-47 during the Civil War. Like,
no, that's different. Nobody else had AK-47s.
Well,
of course he's going to win.
Over.
Why don't you just go with a fucking laser gun?
If we had it, I'm sure somebody around here would have one and be open carrying it.
But here's my problem with it, is that it's one guy with an assault rifle and a handgun judging people. Like, he has no idea what a terrorist... He knows what a terrorist is supposed to look like because of the news. It could be anybody. Yeah. He's standing out there with firearms waiting to see somebody that fits his description of a terrorist. And I'm not saying he's going to shoot him right on sight, but he's going to have a problem with that person before he is the guy coming from the fucking bank.
Well, no, I can see where this can definitely be a problem.
He has no business being there for that reason.
I again think the likelihood of something going wrong outside a recruiting office is fairly low.
That's just what happened, which is why he's doing it.
If it becomes a state where anybody and everybody is just like going out and guarding the door at Walmart, where like every place like has a local vigilante armed outside the door, I can definitely see how that could lead to trouble.
Just because you're good at like you said, just because you're good at Call of Duty doesn't mean you're qualified to guard a recruitment center.
All I'm thinking is, what is it, the gun range scene from Men in Black, where he shoots all of the wrong targets and then explains why. That's
why I shot all these people. Because that one had a beard.
Yeah, this is why I shot all of these
and that lady had her head covered.
People. And assuming we're living in a Men in Black world, we just found our next Will Smith. But otherwise,
yeah, he's not necessary.
It could be trouble.
You don't need to be there. Like the guy in Florida that made his gun shop Muslim free. Did you see that?
I did.
And the same thing, like he said, he's not going to ask people what their religion is, but he's not going to train Muslims to get their carry permit because he sees them as a threat.
I guess
anybody you train to carry a gun is a threat.
Kind of the amusing thing about that is that he's not, apparently, like, if you show up dressed like Osama bin Laden with a Quran under your arm, he's not going to teach you anything. But it didn't the guy the shooter in Chattanooga, like, by all accounts was an all-American boy his entire life, like, no turban, no sandals, no robe,
and everybody has a beard.
So basically he's saying, I will train you to be a terrorist as long as you don't tell me you're going to be a terrorist.
That's the only choice he has. Like, all they have to say is, no, I'm totally Christian.
Yeah, that Jesus fellow.
Yeah, Jesus.
Quite fond of him.
There's a fish on my car right now.
Yep. Not the one with the legs either, but just the fish.
That doesn't make any sense to me. You don't think that's overreacting a little bit? Like,
no, I don't. I mean, yeah.
That's like when the gay marriage thing and that other guy like made his store anti-gay. Like, you can't. What's wrong with people?
That particular one, I don't, because I just want him to be constantly glitter bombed. Because if there's any group that's funnier when they're mad, it's when you piss off the LGBTQ.
There's nothing funnier than just a raging,
there's absolutely
pissed off gay person.
There's nothing funny about an angry Muslim, because
that always ends badly.
That ends very, very badly.
If you make a gay person upset to the point that they're just flipping out, you have a story.
Well, it's much more ironic. Like, they will turn, like, just the glitter bomb thing to me is the most perfect. I'm going to dance up in the gayest way possible and blow glitter in your face. Like, that is the most.
Wait, I never.
That's a real thing. That's an LGBT form of protesting. congressmen they don't like and whatnot, they'll show up and blow glitter on them right before an important vote, so they have to go on C-SPAN covered in glitter.
I've never
Because it's impossible to get glitter off if you've ever been to a strip club and tried to conceal it.
No,
from
I've never
anybody.
pissed off a gay person enough that I've been covered in glitter.
No, if you've ever been to a strip club and tried to conceal it from your significant other, it is impossible to get glitter off. Impossible. But I mean, that's really a model for all of us how to deal with. It's obviously worked. The gay marriage or marriage equality. I mean, we were talking less than a decade ago about a congressional amendment banning same-sex marriage, and now it's the law of the land ratified by the Supreme Court. Like, that's a fast turnaround. Like, basically, what I'm saying to the angry, extreme Islamic community or terrorists of any stripe or color, if you really want to get things done, glitter.
Glitter bombs instead of
Glitter.
suicide bombs.
Glitter bombs instead of suicide
And you can
bombs.
still yell, "Oh," whatever it is,
Yep.
you yell.
La, 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 la.
You can still do that, but it's poof, and you're like, "Oh shit."
Yep.